Hello, everybody, and welcome again to another edition of Success with Cess, where we help you make your dreams come true. Brought to you by the Guerra Group, where we make your real estate dreams come true. Today, I have a great local entertainer by the name of Xavier Joseph. Welcome to the show, and thank you for being here. Xavier and I met each other not too long ago at the pageant weekend that was sponsoring Miss Texas Latina and Miss Houston Latina. You were one of the judges for Miss Texas Latina, and I was judged the very next day for Miss Houston Latina. That was a lot of fun.
It was.
Yeah, a lot of fun, and those girls worked so hard to really present themselves and really challenge themselves in a public forum.
Oh yeah, it was a great atmosphere. It's a great atmosphere for all of the girls. Whether they've been on stage before, whether they're brand new to the stage, they all shine through very, very well. So it was really impressive to see what they were able to come up with over the weekend.
I know at that age, there's just no way you could have gotten me up on the stage and do some of the things that they were doing with their swimsuits and their pageant attire and all that good stuff. So, Xavier, thanks for being here. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your musical background, and what you want the audience to know about you.
Yeah, so my background, my whole upbringing was a little different. I'm now a performing, traveling Texas country music artist around Texas, but I didn't start off that way. I actually started off very far away from Texas country music, and I started in dancing. I was a tap dancer, a jazz dancer, ballet dancer, all that stuff. And I was a professional. I would go to competitions, win a ton of competitions, and it was great. But I was in a convention, and one of the instructors said, you know what? We just have to understand that we work so hard, but we will always be the backup dancer or the background dancer. And I was thinking, I don't want to be the background or backup dancer. So that was when I came out of that class, told my mom, I want to start taking acting lessons and I want to start singing. So that's kind of what happened. But I started singing in opera music. And I started taking opera lessons at the Austin Lyric Opera. And had a big musical theater background, came over to Theater Under the Stars here, did tons of shows, main stage shows with them. And then I went up to New York to pursue a Broadway career. I had dabbled a little bit in country music just because we're in Texas and it's great. But I went up to New York and I lived there for a couple years, and really I was on a couple off-Broadway things, and I did a bunch of different gigs up there. But then literally almost overnight, it was kind of just, I started feeling called back to Texas. And soon after that, one of my old promoter messaged me and was saying, hey, I was wondering if you wanted to come out with like a Christmas song or something. And I came out with it. It was a great success. They played it all the way up until like February. This was almost 2 years ago. Right. And then I decided, you know what? This is what I want to do. I want to be a Texas country music artist. So
that is incredible. That's an incredible story. And it's something that I talk about all the time with folks. It's not necessarily, whether it's getting a college degree and it doesn't materialize for yourself and you find yourself going in a different path. The road of life is up and down and goes different directions and whatnot. And so you said it just came to you that you wanted to be the front of the house, so to speak. Yeah. So did you have to take guitar lessons? Or?
Well, I'd already kind of dabbled in guitar before then. I knew, the basic, G, C, and D and stuff like that. I knew the basic chords. But then I just started practicing all day, every day. I stopped going on auditions in New York because it took me like 2 months to pull this whole thing off after my epiphany. So I basically spent all day, every day just practicing guitar, and just kind of honing in on what kind of sound I wanted to bring to this space.
Right.
So that when I actually got to Texas, I kind of hit the ground running and going. And on our way back, I was already starting to email people because my whole thought was, if I could book a show in a month, I'll have a month to practice and get ready to go.
Incredible.
As opposed to waiting until like, oh, now I'm ready to go.
Right.
Now I'll start reaching out. It was like, this gives me a deadline to get ready to go. And then that first year, I did over 53 shows. All acoustic shows. I didn't have a band yet, but I did 53 shows in my first year.
Yeah.
My songs all made it to the radio charts, the Texas country music radio charts, and just everything's just been moving.
And still moving up.
Yes, still moving up.
Okay.
the pandemic has affected a little bit of the growth that I was really intending this year, because at the end of 2019, I put a band together, kind of did the exact same thing I did with myself. I booked shows 2 months out, kind of freaked them all out, because in a band world, you usually perfect it, then you go do the shows. I basically told them we have 2 months to get 20 songs ready to go, and whatever we come up with is what we come up with. I was a couple of the venues that were booked were some legendary stages, some amazing venues, and I was able to complete 2 shows out of my tour before everything started shutting down.
Oh man!
One of my band members is going off to the Army now. One of the other ones had to kind of pull back because he has to start figuring out how to make money. So it kind of split everything off, but there's a lot of different ways kind of online that we've been doing our best, but it hasn't stopped the growth. It's just made us change, like everybody else, how we're going to grow.
Exactly. It kind of reminds me a little bit about the book by Malcolm Gladwell. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's called Outliers, and he talks about, in one of the chapters, talks about the Beatles and how they ran across problems when they were in Liverpool, England, back in the day, and they went off to Germany, where they got a little gig where they played. I want to say they played 7 nights a week, perfecting their tune, their music. And so when they went back to England, I mean, they had 10,000 hours of really performing and working, fine-tuning their work. And it sounds a little bit like what you did. Just practicing.
Yep. I mean, that's what it comes down to. If you can't be on stage, you might as well kind of redo the show and make it so that when you do get the chance to go on stage, it's awesome,
Well, here at Success with Cess, we're here to help you make your dreams come true. And so what are you looking for as this year rounds out towards the holidays? Are you looking for events or performance venues?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm trying to get my personal goal. I set like kind of a low goal, just because there's a lot of different things I have my toes dipped in right now. I have about 5 gigs before the end of the year. I have 2 booked so far, all up in Dallas, of course, so they're far away from here. But trying to book some gigs. Mainly right now, I'm going to stick with as much as I can, unless the opportunity presented itself with acoustic stuff, because it eases the stress of me having to like put a new band together,
coordinating the band,
prepare them, and when you start getting things closer to Christmas, you have to learn a different set than your regular set, So most of the stuff I'm going to be doing is just acoustic right now. They're more intimate shows. They're they're great.
And probably more COVID friendly groups for local bars and establishments. And you were talking about some of the famous venues that you had booked, like, for example,
there was a Cheatham Street Warehouse was the one that we booked and we actually were able to do, and that was out in San Marcos, and it's one of those that is kind of a hole in the wall type place, but it has a very special place in Texas country music heart. And like when I was performing to my right, there's a sign that was a photo that was signed by George Strait, and he said, "Thank you for giving me a stage when nobody else would." So I mean, it's one of those stages that new artists that have gone on to become legends in country music have touched that stage. So to get that as like our first step out the door was quite fantastic.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So as we get ready to fade away in our show today, give us a little riff. Tell us about the song you're about to play.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to not get too much in your way.
Yeah. Let me move out of the way a little bit.
Yeah. This song I'm going to be playing is my newest single. It's titled Tomorrow's Another Night, and I'm just going to go right into it. I'll just play.
Yeah, go for it.
Share of heartaches, and you've had a few, I know. You and I gave up on love a long time ago, but since we found each other, let's see what else we find. Girl, there's something happening between your heart and mine. Let's just hold on to each other. Let's take it nice and slow. We may not know where we're going, but who says we need to know. Let's just hold on to each moment. And if we don't get it right, there's still me and you. And tomorrow's another night.
Oh, right on.
So that's just a clip of it, but I want to give you...
That is so sweet. That's so sweet. I know that the audience out there, Xavier Joseph, is looking for 3 more events this year. Let's make that happen. You know, on this show, I have something special that I do. As we tune out, everybody gets a song. So you get a song, and as
I've heard it before.
yeah, tell us a little bit about that song.
So that was one of my first biggest commercial success songs. At the moment, it still is. Never been to Texas. Everyone that's ever been to Texas or been around here, ever traveled here, knows how beautiful Texas is, and that's just basically what it describes: the beauty of Texas and why we're an amazing state.
Yes, absolutely. So as we fade away, thanks for joining Success with Ces. Stay tuned next week. Subscribe, make comments, and request guests. We look forward to seeing you again next week, next time. Thanks, Xavier.
Thank you.